You can ask me a question. Have you ever witnessed a woman who radiates unshakable self-confidence, authenticity, and fearlessness? A woman so deeply grounded in her worth and values, so deeply committed to loving herself that she attracts abundance in all aspects of her life just by existing in a soft bubble of self-love. But how does she have such abundant self-love? Where does she learn to communicate? Okay, you know what? Um, Let me do this. Hey everyone, ask me a question. What are you struggling with? What is bothering you? What are your blocks or obstacles? Do you need any advice? Hi, good morning. Where are you from? It's nighttime over here. Yeah, ask me a question if you're struggling. Hi, cute killer bay. That's a sweet name. Let us chit chat, I guess. We could totally chit chat. Hi everyone, thank you for joining. Hi, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Hi 1800 man, what's up? What's up everybody? What are you up to? Hi Merv, Kyle, Age, your hi John. Hi Felix, what's up? Why don't you guess? Oh my goodness. Why don't you guess my age? Shoot. Definitely older than you. If you're worried about age, then you're probably a young man or a young woman. And I'm here to give advice to you all. Oh, you're 22, I'm definitely older than you. Okay, 34, I'm close. But are you guys struggling with anything? Any dating question, relationship question, any oh, thank you. Any dating question I am sweet. Dating, relationship question, or a career question, anything that's bothering you, any mental health question. I have some time, so I want to do some free, advice and therapy. I'm basically a counselor, so mental health. So I help people who are struggling with depression or anxiety or stress. So if you're stressed out, you're single, you like this girl at school, what should I do? At school, you're 14. Well, if you're 14, then it's good to approach girls as friends before you think of anything else. So if you're 14 and you're in school, with high school maybe, right? So you want to approach girls in a friendly, safe manner, and just kind of like get to know what does she like to do, and then just hang out and do things with her. Like that's the best thing to do when you're 14 and you like somebody. When you're 14, you like somebody just means you want to like hang out, do stuff, spend time together, you know? So that would be my advice to a 14-year-old who likes a girl. Oh my goodness. And above all, my advice is to focus on your school. Ninth grade, we're talking to each other in class. Yeah, so stay focused on school and look at her as a friend who is just amazing, right? That's the best way to approach relationships or friendships when you're in high school. When you're young, you really want to focus on growing and maturing all aspects of you. So focus on your health physically, mentally, emotionally, right? So become the man that's going to attract women who are that high quality. So at this point, you in high school, you're starting to become a young man, right? So it's up to you how you shape your present, but then who you become is gonna. I live in California, so the person you become, the man you become, is going to attract women of that caliber. So if you are not somebody, if you don't focus on yourself now, you're not going to become the man you need to be, the best type of man that you can be. So keep it more like casual is what I would say, like when you're young. Okay, any other questions? Let's ask me some real questions. Any career advice, life advice, social advice, relationship, marriage advice, things like that. Sorry, one second. Ask me any question that you might have for a little bit. So I'm an author. I wrote this book, The 5 Self-Love Languages. So the world teaches you the 5 love languages. So that's another thing you could do. You could understand what that girl's love language is, and then you could talk to her in that love language, and that'll bring you guys closer. Best relationships are formed out of best friendships, and girls will like you if if you make them feel safe and you're not a creep. And you get to know them as a person more than, oh my goodness, she's so hot or so attractive, right? More than the body. That's where most men kind of miss the mark. That they're not able to look at the girl as a human being with, their own ideas and opinions and preferences and desires, and they kind of just say, I like you, and so you gotta like me back, or right? So you cannot force a person to like you or to be with you, but you can speak their love language, be there for them, become good, like an indispensable part of their life. Like if she thinks of her day is incomplete without you being in it. So if you approach friendships and relationships from a point of view of serving and being there for the other person, that's going to serve you the best. Any other question? I've just like, I feel like I have all the answers. I'm just like, in Cali sounds great. I live in Turkey with California. Dreams, I've always wanted to live there. California is great, people are good, the weather, people are really smart and really kind and big hearts. That's what I love about California people. The food is amazing because we have food from literally the best food from all over the world. Like we have the best of everything really. The weather is really good and it's really good for your health. So yeah. But ask me any more. Do you have any other relationship questions? Yeah, so if you like someone, it has to be more than skin deep. And if you want to win over somebody and maybe have them be your girlfriend or boyfriend, you have to speak their love language, get to know them for who they are, and then show up for them when they need you. Show up for them so that when they think about their day or their, that they miss you, that they're like, oh, I wish you were here. I wanted to ask you, blah, 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 or, right? So that's the best way. But if you say, oh my goodness, you're so hot, I'm just gonna, whatever, right? She's gonna run away. She's gonna be like, this man just wants to take advantage of me. This man is a creep or whatever. And then that's gonna really put a block and kind of really cut off any further, opportunity you might have to really be her boyfriend if that's what you want to be, you know. So yeah, but above all, you got to like work on yourself and become the man that attracts the best possible girls, you know. So hi Felix. Yeah, that's how I approach relationships. You can't approach relationships from a point of view of I like you, so I'm just gonna. You have to slowly get to know the person and truly understand them before you say I really like you and we should be together. And the way to win over girls is different than the way you win over boys, you know. Girls you can get, I mean, if you're successful and stable, that's attractive to girls. If you are somebody who will listen to them, really understand them, and be there for them, that's attractive to girls. But then you have to be a high quality man, you have to be a high quality man to attract good quality women. That's how I look at it. But above all, you have to love yourself. You have to love who you are before you can attract other people. My girlfriend is sometimes tough and rude to me, but when I do the same, she fights with me. What do you think I should do? So when she's rude to you, disconnect from her and tell her you need space and time, and then remove yourself from the situation for a little bit, like an hour or two, right? So it pauses her rudeness and kind of she because if you keep fighting with her back, or if you react back to her, she's gonna kind of feed off that energy and it's going to cause more problems. So if someone's being rude to you in your relationship, don't be rude back to them, but take a couple hours away from them to really like cool off and remind yourself, I love this person, but they do have this one negative quality, and then figure out how am I going to work with it. So the way you work with it, usually if you tell them when they're calm. If you tell them when they're heated and you're heated, it's going to cause like more messiness. So you should approach her when she's calm, cool, and collected, and her loving self, and be like, hey, I love when we're lovey-dovey like this, or when we're stable or we're happy, but it's really hurtful and I question our relationship when you fight with me for no reason or when you're rude to me. And then come up with a plan. So next time when you get upset, can you please not go under the belt, or make pacts with her and set boundaries with her, so that, and every time she's rude to you, every time she's rude to you, you take a step away from her. Every time your girlfriend is rude to you, thank you for being back. Every time your girlfriend's rude to you, take a step back and let her think on it without you telling her, you did wrong, you are mean, you are rude. You don't need to say anything. If your girlfriend is mean to you, you take a step back and then don't say anything, because being quiet is the biggest, removing yourself from the situation is the best way to handle when your loved one is heated up, because you don't need to fight to prove anything in the moment, right? So, and then with girls, there's a lot of Oh no. So you really don't want to distance yourself from her, and you really love her, and we are in different cities because of university, and I've been crying for 2 days and eating one meal because you. Oh, I see. Distance also does, for girls especially, distance is hard and they lash out when they're missing you and you're not there, right? So if you were there, you would have taken care of it, but now that it's long distance, you still have to do the same thing. You still have to remove yourself. And then it sounds like if she's not talking to you, your whole world collapsed. So what you have to do is create a world for your own self, because what will you do? Yeah, so it sounds like she's trying to be really dominating, and you don't take it because you're setting a pattern of her being rude to you over and over again. Give her some time to cool off, because a lot of times because of hormones, girls will go like up, maybe depending on how she is. So you still have to just be quiet for a couple hours. Don't text her, don't plead, don't say anything, and learn to sit in your power. You're a man. So sit, if the girl's acting out or if any partner is acting out, you have to sit tight and let the storm pass. That's why you need to have a strong foundation of with God, with friends, with you have to have your whole life, so when your girlfriend's acting out, you have other things you can ground into and do, and not get so carried away by, her not being there. So she shouldn't be the only one in your life who is giving you love, giving you support, or means a lot to you. Have other relationships too. I don't know how old you are, or you're in university. So have more friends who, give you love. Your family give you love, right? Expand your definition of what love is and who fills your cup up, right? It cannot just be one girl who you live for. That's kind of like okay, there's a term, it may not apply to you, but love addiction is like a real, true term. It's a real thing. Love addiction, relationship addiction is a real thing. So, you may or may not be, but a love addict, but if your whole world, and this happens when you're young, especially when you're young, you're so focused on the girlfriend. But the wise thing to do is always know that relationships, girls will come and go. I'm not trying to make you sad or scared, but relationships will come and go, girls will come and go. What's more important is to create a foundation so that if someone's mad at you, your life doesn't fall apart. you know if someone is mad at you, if someone is not doing right by you, you should have enough strength and self-respect in you to back away from them and say, sorry, you can't. And that's how you become a man, an adult. You're still very young. You're in university. So, but that's what you eventually, as you go through relationships and you see, oh my God, romantic relationships kind of do have their ups and downs, but you cannot afford to go up and down with them, because your career will suffer, your money will suffer, right? Your family life will suffer. You say, I don't have a lot of friends and my family is weird, we can't talk a lot, which is true. It's hard to talk a lot with your family, for most people. I really love her and I just want her to be in my life. I'm so sorry. Okay, so now other thing what you can do is journal. Write down all your feelings. Think of it as love letters that maybe you will give to her later on in life. So the pain that she's causing you, write it all down in a notebook. Don't tell her or anybody about it, but you need a place to like vent that pain. Otherwise you're going to carry that pain all through all throughout the day. It's going to affect your grades or your performance at work, right? So as a young man, my advice to you would be that relationships are hard and tricky and they do go up and down. And if you make one person your whole life, you're gonna suffer at the hands of that person. So keep in mind that slowly as you move forward in life, create such a full life that if the girl's acting out or not acting right, your world doesn't fall apart completely. I understand right now you're hurting, and I pray that your pain goes away. And I pray that if you want her to come back, she comes back, right? But for the long term, you have to create a foundation of self-love. For example, in what is self-love, right? So you say, this is my career, this is my romantic relationship, these are my friends, this is my family, or these are my hobbies, this is my God relationship with God, right? So slowly, or at least write an intention. You have to write about your pain to release the pain, like how you're talking to me. This will help you. But then when you write about your pain, and think of it as love letters you can give her maybe later, hey, you caused me this much pain, right? So release your pain. You will feel on the paper, you will feel our voice notes, but don't send it to them, because the more you chase after her and the more you cling to her, the more she's going to run away. That is so true with everybody. The more, if someone's fighting or mad at you, the best way to get them back is to give them distance, which I know is so hard to do. But you have to give her space and focus on school, or focus on God, or focus on work or your future, or just writing about your pain. Don't like message her 500 times, or like try to call her and all that. Let her miss you. Let her come to you. She's actually a very beautiful oh, she's actually a very beautiful, sweet, kind girl. She just gets very jealous, and I don't see any other girls, so she doesn't get upset. Oh, you don't see any other girls, so she doesn't get upset. But when she does, but she's upset now, right? So having a relationship without getting married in Turkey is strange. Yeah, I didn't even make any request about this. I was thinking if she would hurt or not. And I said I could even wait until I was 50. You are really young. I don't want to hurt her, but she broke my heart so many times in a row. You know, the pattern sounds like is already established in your relationship, where she's breaking your heart so many times in a row. And it's not that people do this on purpose. Yeah. So sounds like it's a her problem, that she gets upset, and because it's probably because it's long distance, she gets upset and then she says, "Oh, you broke my heart, you're hurting me." So if someone's having a tantrum, let them have the tantrum. That's what she's trying to do. She's just trying, she's probably has energy that she needs to work through, but you're in the line of fire basically. So you just have to write it out. In such relationships, if you're going to stay, you start noticing how much this person is upsetting you. Start writing what is their pattern, so that you know what to do when the time comes to make a decision, right? It may be that it's called like avoidant, that she's avoiding the relationship and she needs a little break to feel, break as in like, just people get upset so they can get some time away. At the end of the day, that's what it is. People get upset, especially if you're saying you didn't do anything, there's no reason to be upset, and then she's imagining something that you're talking to other girls or whatever, right? So I would say this: write down all your pain, don't text or call her, wait for her to come to you. As a man, you have to develop the strength in you to wait for her to come to you. The more you chase her, the more she's going to run away. So you have to sit with your pain and write down how many times she's, for no reason hurting you or running away or causing tantrums, right? Because if it's up and down all the time, how are you going to be with this person long term? If they, and with young people this is very common, right? They will go up and down in romantic relationships, and don't take the relationship so seriously. Right now your focus really should be school, university, and job, and making yourself, building yourself as a man. That's what I would say. Yeah, if you've done nothing, just leave it at that. Tell her that I haven't done anything. You cannot convince her that you haven't done anything. You have to wait for her to understand and realize that you are a good man, you've not done anything wrong, and you don't do anything wrong. And just wait for her to come to you. But also keep note of how many times this is happening over and over again. Okay, I hope this is helpful to you. And then work hard to bring your energy back to yourself. Work hard to, focus on yourself. You say the city where I live is 10 days before comes to. Okay, well, that's a good plan. Buy her flowers and chocolate and jewelry. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, well, it sounds like you really love this person if you're putting them ahead of yourself. All right, good job. Good job on that. But relationships, you shouldn't, well, you're young right now, but if you keep getting carried away in relationships, they're going to rob you of your time, your emotion, your opportunity, and your focus on yourself. In life, you have to have focus on yourself and focus to create a full life with lots of hobbies and interests and doing things other than just the romantic partner, because a lot of times you may love somebody, but they may not be able to give you everything you want, right? Like she's upset, she's not available, and that happens a lot. So don't chase her for sure. That's what I would say. Hello, everybody. Ask me any question. Oh, sorry. Any question about career, relationships, any obstacles, depression or anxiety, any problems that you have. I would love to guide and help you. We were discussing the heartbreak and how difficult it is. Not only long distance relationships are difficult, but when somebody is, causing pain and drama, how do you handle them? If there is no issue, no problem, nothing happened, but there's still drama, there's still ups and downs, how do you handle that? That's what we were discussing. Ask me any questions. I'm just here hanging out. I'm the author of The 5 Self-Love Languages. The world teaches us love languages, but nobody teaches us how to love ourselves. And the deeper you have the deeper you have self-love, longer you will work to protect, preserve, empower your own self. You wouldn't fall apart if a girl's not talking to you or your partner's not talking to you. You wouldn't completely fall apart if you worked to cultivate self-love. She's your best friend. That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And relationships really are up and down. Relationships are, because it's, and you have to release all that you cannot control. If you cannot control, especially because if you didn't do anything, you cannot control her response or her reaction, and you didn't do anything. So there's a prayer called Serenity Prayer, which says, Dear God, help me release all that does not serve me, all that I cannot control, and help me change and focus on what I can control, which is me, which is my own self. We can change and we can become like overly helpful, nice, to gain other person's love, approval, acceptance, validation. But if they're not ready to accept all that and they act out, then you have to take a step back and think, all right, I need to be ready because this keeps happening all the time. So next time when she, acts out, what am I going to do? And another thing is, like, young people in relationships, there is lots of ups and downs because they're learning. They're learning how to be in relationships, how to behave in relationships. Yeah, she told me that she's uncomfortable when she thought broke up with me. Yeah. So, if you don't give yourself the love that you have for yourself inside of you, yeah. So, if you don't, you have to love yourself first. You have to respect yourself first. You have to, and then the other person's love comes. Yeah, people hurt each other in relationships. Yeah, in love and in relationships. And a lot of times people sabotage relationships because they're not sure, or they sabotage relationships because they think they're not worthy. So it's very draining, very draining emotionally, mentally, spiritually, because she is your only source of love. That's why you're hurting even more. And it's kind of like difficult to tell a young person to, it's difficult to tell a young person, hey, make sure you have a full life, make sure you have hobbies and interests and other relationships, and like parents and family and friends and hobbies and interests, and go and read books. I hope you read books on relationships so that you stay grounded in the truth, right? That's what I've seen, like, throughout my years of working with clients. I've realized that they focus so much on love, on getting love from other people, that they don't even realize that they're not loving themselves. Oh, you're welcome. It was so sweet that you helped. Thank you, really. Yeah, I guess I'll adapt what you said to my life. Yeah, are you okay? How's it going? Yeah, I'm doing good. I am, I've learned all, I used to be the same way, right? You learn all these lessons when you're young, and then as you get older, you teach young people that ups and downs in relationships are a part of life. Sometimes when there's too many ups and downs, you have to think, like, is this even worth it? And then to manage the storm, when the storm comes of the ups and downs, you have to rely on yourself and God. Because if this girl's doing, you know doing this already, she's gonna probably continue this pattern for a little bit longer. Young people take time learning how to behave in relationships. So if her parents or her family members behave this way, like, hot and cold, or angry and not, then she will also, she learned from, so from her parents. So young people learn the patterns of how to behave in relationships from their family or their parents, but then they come to realize, oh, this is not working, let me change myself. And that really only comes later in life. So you're right where you should be as a young person. This is very common. So you're not alone. That's what I'm telling you. You're not alone in feeling the pain of that young love. We've all been there. That drama is draining. Yeah, you agree. You're her first boyfriend. You're her first boyfriend. So she definitely does not know what she's doing, right? And she's probably trying to figure out, and that in itself is so tiring, and like, Yeah, so you just have to give her, that grace that she's trying to figure it out. And if she loves me, she's not going to go anywhere. But if she doesn't love me, she might leave. But if she doesn't love you and leaves, then obviously you don't want her. You want someone who's not going to leave you, someone who loves you enough to stay with you, right? If they leave, they don't even love you. So this powerlessness, that you feel like I don't know what to do, I have no power or control, that was your first question, basically. That's what it meant. That my girlfriend acts out, but then when I'm and is very rude, but if I'm rude back, then she says, "You're so rude." So this powerlessness in relationships comes from, chasing people. So as a man, or even anybody, even as a woman in a relationship, you have to learn to like hold on to your power. You should have at least 50% say in what goes in relationship. So you cannot change her. You can only focus on, managing yourself as she's going through her tantrum. And it sounds like she does this all the time, right? So as she's going through this tantrum or this angst, focus on yourself and what you're here to do. Access and nurture the love that lives inside of you. Yeah. Because healthy relationships are formed when you love yourself. You stand up for yourself. You don't take any, abuse or from other people. You don't let them mistreat you. That's relationship. If someone is constantly mistreating you in relationship, right, then that's a red flag. It's a red flag if someone is constantly rude and hurtful. Maybe they just don't know how to do relationships. Yes, you love her, maybe she loves you too, but if she's not able to do a relationship or does not have a skill set yet, you have to kind of factor that in. I changed myself a lot for her because I'm not a good person, but okay, okay. I changed myself a lot for her because I'm not a good person, but she's kind-hearted. I gave everything. I was trying to be worthy for her. Oh my goodness. I said I had nothing left when, okay, yeah. So you're trying to change yourself so she will love you, and you're trying to be kind so she will love you, right? But if you change yourself for somebody, they may or may not love you. You have to stay and be who you are and stand in your power and cultivate self love, cultivate hobbies, people, other interests, friends. You don't have to get a second girlfriend. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to cultivate career, health, family, hobbies, other relationships, even neighbors, etc., so that you're not in that deep loneliness that you're like, oh my goodness, I cannot do anything. And now that she's gone, my whole world has collapsed. So as you grow up, as you get older, realize that you have to cultivate not just romantic in your life, but many other aspects you have to cultivate in your life. Because if you only focus on romantic relationships, that other person can treat you, leave you, take away your power anytime. If you're so dependent on another person to live and exist, they can really treat you poorly because you have no power. They have all the power. So when you have self love and you have self respect, then you have faith that even if she leaves or treats me poorly, I can stand up for myself. I can take care of myself. I will not allow you to talk to me poorly or disrespect me, right? As long as you don't abandon yourself. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So she brought the good in you. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. If the partner or the girlfriend is bringing the good out in you, that's really good and healthy. But when it goes to pieces, when it falls apart, you need to have a plan. You need you need to have a plan. If she's bringing out the best in you, that's really good, and you like yourself the way you are in that relationship. So don't chase her. Stay in your power. Let her come to you and realize that she threw a tantrum. Maybe she's missing you. Maybe that's why she's feeling all these tantrums happening. But you have to believe that you are deserving of healthy love, that you want to be in a healthy, stable relationship. That's true love. True love is when somebody understands you, loves you, believes in you, and respects you. And right, how, like, yeah. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I've got to go and start dinner. It's 6 o'clock over here. Thank you for hanging out with me and chatting with me. I hope things work out for you, Mr. Felix, and keep me posted. I go live a lot, so just hop in and hopefully everything works out for you very soon. Until then, write down all that you're feeling. That will totally, immediately help you feel better. Okay? Good luck, guys. Bye bye.